that they were able to enjoy the
Yes.
somewhat decent weather that we had yesterday, but it seems like today we definitely want to have that 13 app on our phone and stay weather aware.
Yes, absolutely important, because we still could have some strong storms move through, and Elsa's forecast, well, it's definitely much more clear. There still could be a few changes. Tropical systems, clearly very large systems, also they're out over the ocean, and you don't have as much data out over the ocean. So there is still a little bit left that could change, and we're going to take you through it all right now. So yes, extra important that you do have our app as we continue to update you throughout the day. Right now, we will give you the latest update on Tropical Storm Elsa. It did upgrade to that Category 1 hurricane status yesterday in the early evening, but notice it is interacting quite a bit with the Florida Peninsula, bringing very heavy tropical downpours. There have been a few tornado warnings this morning as well, and the more it interacts with land, the more it's going to get shaken up and essentially weaken. Also, there is a little bit of wind shear that it is battling currently, and both of those things together are bringing us this weaker storm rather than that Category 1 hurricane. As of the 5 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center, still moving to the north at 14 miles per hour, but the big difference is it is again continuing to weaken. At 2 a.m. it had 70 mile per hour sustained winds, now looking at 65 mile per hour sustained winds. So still a very dangerous storm and a very high-end tropical storm, and it is going to maintain that tropical storm status as it makes its way off to our southeast. Notice the National Hurricane Center's forecast brings it just outside of our southeasternmost counties, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that this does shift slightly west and move further inland into our southeasternmost counties, tracking through parts of Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, maybe even Lawrence County as a tropical storm. So right now, is it likely that we are going to see tropical storm force impacts? No, most models keep us in the realm of about 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts, so those isolated higher gusts, maybe in these outer convective rain bands that are going to move through that will time out for you here. But we could potentially bump that up a bit if the storm does track a little bit to the west as it makes its way inland. So something we'll be paying very close attention to today. As we go through the late morning, we'll start to introduce the chance for a few heavier downpours, very much like we saw yesterday. While yesterday's storm activity for the evening was not directly associated with Elsa, expect something very similar as we head into the afternoon. And for most of us, these outer rain bands are going to be the worst of Elsa. It's going to bring you those very heavy tropical downpours, some very gusty wind, maybe even some stronger storms with wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour. But as Elsa physically moves off to our southeast, as we head into the overnight hours, here's 1 o'clock, center of circulation lying just outside of our southeasternmost counties. Notice most of the rain, the severe threat, that potential for brief isolated tornadoes, that greater flooding threat is going to stay out to our east, closer to the Savannah coastline. Now for us, notice most of us are going to stay dry, especially if you're west of 75. So those outer rain bands are what most of us are going to worry about today when it comes to those heavier tropical downpours. We will be watching our southeasternmost counties maybe for some localized flooding, as they did already receive a lot of rain. I saw some pretty impressive pictures out of Lawrence County yesterday, and we're just going to add more rain on top of that. Plus today we're going to add the wind. So be very vigilant as you make your way out and about this afternoon, because wind gusts plus rain, and very gusty wind at that, could cause trees to fall over. That could lead to some power outages as we go through the day today. So as we head towards 3 o'clock, those outer rain bands will be moving through. Notice packing some pretty gusty wind along with them. Elsa will be making landfall at this point, moving just out to our southeast. At least that's what the high resolution model says. And it will be weakening at this point, but still could see wind gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour as the storm passes off. But notice everyone else, we're sitting somewhere between, it looks like maybe 10 to 15 mile per hour wind gusts if you're not in our southeastern most counties. Rainfall, we are going to look at anywhere between about 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 inch for most of us, but maybe upwards of 3 inches in our southeastern most counties. So again, stay updated with us today as we continue to track Elsa, and then we go back into a summer-like pattern Thursday through Tuesday.